Good morning, and you are watching Sunrise at Sea. If you just joined us, you are right in time for Our Views. Now, what we do here on Our Views is we get to discuss different topics and different issues and our different perspectives towards these issues. This morning, we will be discussing, is monogamy realistic? Yes, is it realistic? And we are going to discuss the challenges of having one partner, the social and personal challenges of having one partner. I am Sandra Cope, I am your lead host, and I am joined by the usual suspects, Sarah and Shivan. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning, Sandra. At the usual suspects.
Aren't you?
Food. Where?
Who is looking for us?
You never know.
Who is
You never
hunting?
know. Well, this morning we are discussing, is monogamy realistic, and the challenges of being with one partner, the social and personal challenges of being with one partner. We would actually love to hear your views on this. So please head down to our social media pages at CTV Uganda, and please do not forget to use the hashtag CTV Sunrise. So ladies, let's jump right into it. Why is polygyny acceptable and polyandry frowned upon? Now, before we answer this question, we would like to look at what these words mean, because they are thrown around and many people don't actually understand what they mean. So as you can see this on your screen, and we say, what is polygamy? Now, polygamy is the act of marrying multiple spouses. That means having more than one husband or wife at the same time. Anthropologically, polygamy is defined as a marriage between one person and two or more spouses simultaneously. It exists in two main forms: polygyny, where one man is married to several women, and polyandry, where one woman is married to several men. So I'm posing this question again. Why is polygyny a man who is marrying more than two wives? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is acceptable in our society. Yeah, according to our customary law here, it is recognized. You can introduce more than one woman. Even. Yes, you can. But polyandry is not, whereby a woman cannot be married to more than one husband. Why do you think this is so?
First of all, look at this, yeah? The sex ratio starting. Let's begin there. There are more women than there are more men. So why would a woman want to have two husbands, yet there isn't enough husbands for us already?
Us, yes.
Do you understand? Another thing, why do you want two husbands?
For what?
One is already
Headache enough.
Thank you.
But you see, Sarah, why would you want two husbands? Okay, fine. For me, I mean, monogamous marriage, I do not want another husband. But what I am saying is, yeah, according to men, like, not all men want two wives.
Yes.
Yeah, you understand? But they have that choice to introduce.
Yes.
There is that choice.
Yes.
So why can't women have that choice? It doesn't mean they're going to. Even if I had
Because
that choice,
we are
I would not
women.
want another husband.
I think let's start. Let's go back in time to African traditional society. There are a number of reasons as to why polygamy was encouraged. Number one, for social status. It made men. I think it
Specifically
built
polygyny.
yes, polygamy. Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically, it made I think it massaged their ego. It made them look like they're conquerors, you know.
Yeah.
Number two was for the fact that there weren't enough men to you know, enough men to go around. Because back then all the men had to go into war, and that is one of the reasons that caused the reduction in men, because they went to war and died or never came back. Okay, so you would find that a lot of villages had very few men and there weren't enough husbands for everybody. So polygamy was encouraged so that every woman could have the chance to get married and have children, which makes sense. It makes sense to me.
It made sense then.
It made sense then. It still makes sense now, because men have a higher chance of, you know, their life expectancy is way lower than women for many reasons.
Because women
they have to go
wives
to, because they have
them
to
stress.
but it's still the same thing. Yes, there is that. There is stress. They still have to go to war and fight. Some of them are just, you know how men are very spontaneous and like to just partake in dangerous activities,
Adventure.
and they end up, you know, just recklessly losing their lives. I'm just giving some of the reasons as to why men's life expectancy is a lot lower than women. They are not as carefully and they don't live their lives as carefully and thought through like women do. We are a lot more planned than men are. You understand what I'm saying? It's not an insult, but it's just a fact. So it makes sense that polygamy can be for women. I mean for men, and not for women. Because of this.
But also the fact that we are women. Don't you take, I just, you see, I don't, it might come off a bit rude, and I do not want to be rude, but I take very high value in being a woman. I do not want to be shared by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. The man can be shared, that's none of my business, but I don't want to be shared. I want to have one man, I want to be the only woman, because I take pride in it. But also, you are a woman, like, embrace it. Why do you want to have so many men sharing you? It makes you less of a woman. I stand for being a virtuous lady, guys. I stand for being a virtuous lady. I am one person who doesn't stand for polygamy. First of all, my culture doesn't allow it, my religion doesn't allow it because I am Christian. So I am for one partner all the way. And I think the reason as to why even women, why it is okay for men to have more wives is they have, first of all, they have the energy. It seems they have the energy. For us, we don't have that kind of energy. You know, we do not have that time.
I don't think you should speak for all the women. What kind of energy are we talking about?
No, I don't mean that energy you're talking about. I just
because this convo can, yes, if you're talking about that kind of energy, like you can't speak for all women.
But
That's what I'm saying.
I don't mean that kind of energy though.
But let's now, okay, fine. If we are advocating for polyandry, right,
yes,
where women can have more husbands and women now want equal rights, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now should the woman be the one to pay for her husband's dowry? Should the woman now take the sole responsibility of being the breadwinner in the house? Since now we are talking about for equality, I don't like this whole conversation where women say, oh, we want also to be able to do this. But then when you are given that rule, and then when you say like, okay, like, let's have a conversation about it. Now you shy away with the responsibility that comes with it. That is where my problem is. Do you understand? And also having more than one man or husband does not ensure the fact that you are going to be able to satisfy all of them in every way. Number one, let's also look at it this way. Men can go ahead to pregnant even 20 women in one night. Fact.
Yeah. Yes.
But for a woman to conceive, she needs at least 12 months after the first child.
Yes, she does.
You understand? So how are you going to be able to satisfy all your husbands? A husband can get all his 20 wives pregnant in one night. Yeah. You have to wait, tell your husbands, honey, wait your turn. Give me, okay, let's set a date. I think 16th December
would be ideal.
Yes, now we can start trying for your child, yeah?
Even look at the ovulation aspect and all those things involved.
You understand?
You get, it's not even about the months, it's even your days, like...
I understand, ladies, I understand. But my argument is, just hear my line of thought here.
Okay.
What I am saying is, women should have the option, like why the marriage and divorce bill was dilly-dallying in the floor of parliament. It's because polygamy is only, the form of polygamy that is recognized is polygyny, men having more than one wife. And polyandry is not, yeah? And the women were saying that, according to the Constitution, it stipulates that we are all equal before the law.
True.
That means then you're telling us indirectly when you read between the lines that we are not equal before the law. You understand what I mean? And they tried this also recently in South Africa to pass polyandry, and it was refused because of obvious reasons, culture and this and this and that. Which takes me to the next question. Do you think then, because you can't give your husband a date of next year, 16th December 2022.
Yes.
Yeah? I mean, that does not even make sense. So I'm thinking that according to society, because things such as side pieces have been accepted in this society. You'll see someone who's married, oh, that's so-and-so's side piece. Oh, Okay.
And you're being
And people, yeah, like, like this is on ground. We all know it.
Yes.
So instead of that, I am thinking, should people be having polyamorous relationships than accepting the side piece arrangement? But before we go to that, I would like to leave you with a quote with these two bills, please. And this quote says, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." I personally love this quote. It is from Nelson Mandela from his book, Dare Not Linger. This was published posthumously. It's a book I'm currently reading, and it talks about the complexities of apartheid and social classes in ruling a nation that was deeply entrenched in this. So, like, we can accept our freedoms, but true freedom comes in accepting other people's freedoms. So if they can also create this space for women, yeah, by these polyamorous, yeah, relationships, and it is on your screens now. Polyamory specifically refers to people who have multiple romantic relationships at the same time. It does not mean any type of open relationship that may include more casual sexual partners. In many polyamorous relationships, each partner is aware of the other ones.
Yes.
Partners may also have relationships or friendships with each other. Polyamorous people have multiple loving, intentional, and intimate relationships at the same time. Polyamory is a type of open or non-monogamous relationship that follows certain guidelines. So my question is, instead of people hiding, yeah, that is my side piece, that is my side piece, shouldn't people just be open?
This is the it is not that it is refused. Okay, by law it is, you can't go to church and say,
No,
I'm bringing my two husbands on the same day,
yeah,
let's get
true.
married.
You cannot.
You understand? Even culturally, it's and socially, it is frowned upon, especially for women, because they tend to look at this woman as she probably has a huge, maybe sexual appetite, or she's just a Jezebel, to say, for lack of a better word. But anyway, like you had said, in South Africa, this bill was also tabled where women were asking for polyamory to be, made legal, and a lot of people shunned it. However, there's a professor called Collis Machoka, and he's a renowned academician on this particular topic. And so he had, he did a study on it, and he did interview a number of people and wanted to get their thoughts. And one thing that he found out that was actually profound is that with polygamous relationships, women get or allowed to be in these relationships for, number one, the main reason being financial stability. If a man can take care of me, it's okay if he has 20 other women, it is all right. Well, on the other hand, why men subscribe to polyandry, I beg your pardon, is because of love. And he found at least 4 couples, or 4 women who had co-husbands, 4 women in different relationships with their co-husbands. And so he interviewed all the husbands involved. There were about maybe 16 altogether amongst the 4 women. And then he said that the reasons that all the men said why they allowed this was because they were in love with the woman. It had nothing to do with anything else. It wasn't about children, it wasn't about financial stability, it was because of love. And I thought that was so sweet and so sad at the same time. Aww. And so he asked one of the ladies why she wanted a polyamorous relationship. Yes. And she said for her it stems from what she studied in biology. Bees, the queen bee, has the drones, so many husbands. So she said that is what inspired her. Honey, you're not a bee.
You're not a queen bee.
So she said that is what inspired her, and now she has, when she got older, started engaging in sexual relations, she had 4 boyfriends at a time who knew each other, and now 4 of those boyfriends are now her husbands, co-husbands.
Interesting.
Yeah. And for the other ladies, some of them even paid. There's this other lady, she has 2 husbands, and she paid somewhat of a bride price or husband price. Groom price? Is that what it
Well, let's look at what could come about, especially what we have been hearing around in Uganda, you find a guy is married in church, but then he has introduced his side piece, which is, according to what the council told us, illegal.
Yes, we
so
know
let's
that.
look, doesn't it lead to things like that, like bigamy? This is on your screens, bigamy, and it is defined as formally entering into one marriage while the previous one is undissolved. If a spouse is married to one individual and attempts to enter into a second marriage with another individual, it is considered bigamous. The second marriage is void and grounds for an annulment. So don't you think all these things, not having this candid conversation, leads to things like bigamy, leads to things like property wrangles when the man dies, and also prevalence of things such as HIV and STIs, and in worst case scenarios, crimes of passion. Don't you think so?
Absolutely. Yes, it does. But I don't think that that just only that what am I trying to say? I don't think just it being bigamy in this case is the reason for that, but because we have found also marriages that are traditional and all the wives are legally married, in the traditional setting, these things still happen. It's just how we get jealous when we have to share somebody
Jealousy
we love.
is innate to us.
It's inevitable, I think, so in most cases. So I don't think it's just attributed to bigamy, but what can actually make things go far is if, say, the woman does not find out, and then, but even if she found out, in most cases, it still ends up this way. Polygamous relationships, when have you ever heard of a happy ending?
Here's the thing. For me, what I think is that, first of all, marriage is a big decision, yeah? And that's the thing. If you're not ready to get married to someone, if you're not sure that's the person you want to get married to, then why are you getting involved with them anyway? That is how we can avoid all these situations. But also looking at these different contradictions that we have been looking at, a lot of things need to be put into aspects. Because yes, you're going to have more than one sexual partner, but that comes with consequences. That means you're probably going to have STIs, you're going to probably have STDs. That means you're going to have to share yourself emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and it's draining. So the question is, do you have enough to share out loud with everyone that there is?
Well, I wish we had more time on this topic. I mean, there's just so much to talk about. But would love to hear what you, to know what you think, your view on this subject. So please go down to our social media pages at CTV Uganda, and please don't forget to use the hashtag CTV Sunrise. That was all for Our Views Part 1 this morning with me, Sandra. But do not go anywhere, because Sarah is coming on next with yet another interesting topic. Don't blink.